Go.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Huddle Spiritual Matters Thursdays. I'm your host, Dr. Monikah Ogando. Today, we are going to be talking about gratitude and lessons. We are continuing our gratitude series. And, it comes as no surprise that we would end the series with a gratitude on lessons. We've talked about the gift of endings. We've talked about the gift of limbo, that in-between space. We've talked about the gift of beginnings. And so through that journey, as reverse engineered as it might seem, from endings to limbo to beginnings, what are the lessons in it all? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So again, welcome to the Daily Hub. Yes, yes. Welcome once again. Let's get settled into this now moment. I'm going to ask my friend Chase, who I haven't seen in quite some time. Chase, welcome to the Daily Huddle Spiritual Matters Thursdays. How are you and what are you thankful for? Where's Chase?
Grand day, grand day.
There he is.
I am exactly the way I say I am today.
Mm-hmm.
I am driven, completely driven. And today I am thankful for love.
Ooh, okay. I love that too. That sounds like an offline conversation between you and me, but okay, that's another sermon for another time, honey. Hey.
I'm just thankful for love in general.
Love in
More
general.
love.
Okay, I didn't mean to imply otherwise. I'm just saying.
But I'll hit you up. Good to see you.
That's lovely. Thank you for that. Stan, where are you? And who are you hugging today?
Oh, wow. Hey, Doc, and hey, Daily Huddle family. I'm right here where I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
The only place I could be is right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to hug, starting with my beautiful wife, and probably be hugging my mama today, God willing. I'm get to see her.
Yay.
And I'm going to reach out and hug each one of you right now, too. You got it?
Virtual hug, virtual hug.
Did you get it?
All right. Now. Please tight. That's lovely. Thank you all again for being here. I thought it prudent to wind down the year. We are here in December, the last month of the Gregorian calendar year. And I thought it prudent to wind down the year by supporting you in, not only getting clear about the holidays and closing out the year and setting up your intentions for the next year, but then also just infusing that with gratitude and with your power of intention so that you can really, walk into 2024 with the regal power, strength, resilience, intention, and joy and pleasure that we all desire in our lives. So we'll end the year. We'll talk about the version that you are consciously creating of yourself. We'll review some of our holiday or winter solstice traditions. And then I'll share with you also my top New Year ceremony and practice that I do every year to release the old and welcome in the new. And we'll even hint at, you might have heard of the 12-week year, where you take your intentions that you want to achieve in a year and imagine short changing or kind of like collapsing the timeline to 90 days. So it's a 12-week year. And so in a very, very popular book. But today I want to hone in on those lessons, because that lesson or those lessons that you've gotten from the year behind us could very well be the fertilizer that allows you to till a new garden and to bloom new flowers and new results in the garden of your life and of your experiences. And hey, Robin.
So you're telling me the manure of 2023, or that is 2023, can be the fertilizer for 2020.
That's right.
Hear that.
Divine
Thank you.
intelligence wastes nothing. So, so yes, we can actually use those lessons to fertilize new ground. And so, with that being said, here's some questions that you can use. As you've heard me say before, questions are the creative acts of intelligence. And so when I ask questions, it opens up creativity, possibility, intention, curiosity, exploration, insights, downloads that may not have otherwise have been available to me had I not gotten curious, had I not started asking questions. It's the reason why we inserted the whole check yourself before you wreck yourself in the the advice that we give at the end of every chapter of the daily huddle. Auditing your assumptions is really just a way of asking yourself questions so that you can check in with the foundational reality that you've allowed yourself to live through. And so I want to ask you some questions. I want you to use the questions that I'm about to ask you to foment curiosity about the lessons that you may have gotten throughout the year, and use that moving forward as you create 2024. And once again, thank you for allowing us to be part of your 2024 and beyond. So, question number 1, where am I now? And you can use that where am I now in all the domains, all the chapters, all the kind of like departments of your life, whether that's in your relationships, your finances, your money, your career, your creative output. For some of us, the career and creative output are synonymous. For some of us, those are separate things. Also, your health, your wellness, and just your overall sense of peace and joy. Yeah. So where are you now? And the second question that I would ask is, how did you get here? Yeah. So for some of us, that's circumstantial. Well, I got here because I got divorced, or I got here because I got married, or I got here because I got a new job, or I moved states, or, I graduated and I got a degree, or I started posting more online, et cetera, et cetera. But if you can pinpoint the steps that it took to get here, whether you consider those steps a mistake or divine intervention or successes or whatever the case may be, independent of the label you put on them, you can then begin to reverse engineer yourself when you begin to plan for the future. Because if you can review, right, if you can look at the rear view mirror and say, oh, this is how I got here. When you have that experience for yourself of how did I get here, review the steps that it took to enjoy this now moment, then you can pre-pave that reverse engineering process for the future as well. If you were to ask 2024 version of you, how did I get here? What would he or she say as far as what 2023 you had to put in place in order to get there, right? 12 months from now. So question number 1 is, where am I now? Question number 2 is, how did I get here? Question number 3, I'm going to give you 4. Question number 3 is, what worked? What worked about how I got here? What worked about what I did or said, or the relationships, etc. And question number 4 is, what didn't work or what was missing, right? So it's a 2-part question. What didn't work or what was missing? Now, I want to give you a distinction here about that question. What didn't work is something that was present but ineffective, depending on where your goal was. And what was missing is something that was absent, but would have been effective if you would have put it in, right? So we're dealing with absence, presence, and effectiveness. And so when you ask yourself what worked and then what didn't work and what was missing, now, have you noticed that we haven't taken into account any judgment, any guilt tripping, any shame, any fault finding, any blame finding, etc., right? It's just really Monday night quarterbacking, as it were. It's really just a review. It's really just giving yourself feedback, noticing your own data, so that then you can make different decisions, or double down on the decisions that actually did work, that it actually did produce the results that you wanted, etc. For many of us, 2023 has been a topsy-turvy year. It's been revolutionary. It's been like, oh, I thought I was going to get a break. I thought I was going to breathe. Here we go again with the roller coaster, right? And so one of the lessons, I'm going to insert a lesson. Write this down in your journal, you know. One of the lessons that I think we got collectively is that we are far more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. We are far more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. And now I can hear some of you thinking this because I have thought it myself. You know, God, I don't want to be one of your strong soldiers no more. Can you get somebody else to do it? Can I take a break? Can you bench me for just like, you don't have to bench me forever, just a year or 6 months or something. Just give a girl a break. All right. I can hear you saying that. And so that can be one of your exploratory questions as well. Where can you find rest? Where can you insert peace? Where can you insert respite in your day-to-day life? Some of us do not naturally, actively insert that into our lives. It just kind of becomes like the side effect of getting burnt out or of productivity, et cetera, et cetera. And so when you can think of the ebbs and the flows of nature, of cycles of life, right? We're now entering the winter season. We're in late fall and about to enter the winter season. You notice outside that for some of us, the leaves have already fallen, if they haven't already. They're falling if they haven't already. That it begins to look barren. It's colder, it's drier. For some of us, it's wetter, depending on your weather patterns where you are. And it looks like nature says, I'm going to sit down now, right? Nature's looking like, I'm going to sit down now. I'm not blooming nothing. I'm not flowering nothing. I'm going to sit down. And we would do well to take a page off of nature's wisdom and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to sit down too. And what does that look like for you? That might look like taking a break from work. That might look like going to bed earlier. That might look like enjoying your own silence and your own company and not having to fill your calendar with things to do or with people to call or with things to handle. Now that I have a free moment, let me go get busy again, you know? And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about what are some of the lessons that you've gotten from these past 12 months? And what are these questions that I have just given you opened up for you in terms of your own evaluation of your life, of your year, of your progress? I would love to hear it. Now in the chat, Robin says he gives the hardest jobs to his baddest MFers. So he must think I'm a beast. Child, you and me both, honey. Lord have mercy. You know, I'm ready to put down the mantle. So who's got something? What are some of the lessons that you've gotten through this year? And what are these questions that I've just given you opened up for you?
It's the line, all I know is I know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I learn, the more I realize how little I know.
Yes.
Yeah. That was my lesson this year, to not think I knew everything and to be able to, like you said, sit down, look at what's going on without judgment and just say, what the heck, man? Like,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I got the book finished, but that took, you know,
Nice.
this massive push of
Sure.
energy and time and focusing and now I'm doing that, what you just said. It's like, it's cold outside. It's gray.
Yeah.
The earth has said it's time to rest. So I still have things to do, but I'm putting no pressure and they're getting done because I don't have this unrealistic urgency on any of it, right? It's not going to, what's it say? It's not going to, the world's not going to end tomorrow if I don't get this done.
Yeah, sure.
There it is. Good
Yeah,
topic.
good stuff.
Good topic.
And congratulations on finishing the book. That's an awesome achievement.
Thank you. Thank you.
Way to go. Way to go. I can't wait. Is it like available for purchase now?
Yeah, if you go on that, there's that book selling website, Amma something.
Okay. It's on
Amma
Amazon.
off. I call it Amma's off. It's not Amazon, it's Amma's off.
What's the name of what's the title of the book?
It's right there on the screen, using Google's free shit. But if you go to my
Oh,
website,
okay.
if you go to my website and buy it, I'll include my $1 million signature on the inside of it for you.
Oh,
You can't
nice.
get that from Amazon.
Autograph sessions. Okay, love it. I love it. Okay, fantastic.
Thank you, Chase. I
Congratulations.
appreciate that. Yeah, Chase got his copy of it a few weeks ago. So,
Woo-hoo!
yeah.
Okay, great. So who else? Who else has, what are some of the lessons that you learned this year? And what are some of the things that these questions I sent you are opening up for you? Where are you now? How did you get here? What worked? What didn't work? What was missing? Who's got something? You should know by now that I'm perfectly okay with silence. So I don't mind waiting for you to
And
come
it's
up
your show. So,
with a thought.
nice.
Right.
Nice.
Mhm. I know Rashida or Virtue or Chase might have something to share.
I do have something to share. Just the silence was so much to take for so long. I had to
Right?
jump out. Wow, it's like too much silence for such vibrant people. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so um this year what came up for me is that um we have to stay in our rhythm and not wait for others to join us in it.
Say more about that.
Those who are in our life are true um you know points of energy, the people who are around, they are there. And people expose themselves when they don't I don't even want to say reciprocate, just show themselves, right? When we stay in our own lane and we are whatever we want to be, happy, vibrant, curmudgeon, whatever we want to be, we attract that to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And the mistake I made, maybe I've made it over time, but this year I was really clear about it, is sometimes to keep pushing like rocket fuel into those people who don't show up. Guess what? They still don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, I'm here, I'm doing my thing, I'm lifting the world up, I'm putting my gifts into play, exposing the magic, doing my performing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I do that and stay focused on that, everything happens great. It's only when I pull my car off to the side of the road to wait for Jim, Joey, Jack, or Jane that something goes wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I noticed that clearer this year more than any other year. Like, wow, just be you, do your thing. If it's meant to be, the person's going to be calling you, hanging with you, whatever. And if it's not, you got to keep your energy up, because if you wait for them, now you're waiting for you.
That's a perfect circle up. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I think it elucidates how often we do things for other people, or we use people as the mechanism for our agenda, because it sounds more noble to say that we're givers, to say that we are, contributing to our family, our community, our audience, our people, et cetera, et cetera. But if we can get clear on what we're actually doing, which is really just the gifts that we've been entrusted with, then it doesn't matter who is in the audience, right? Whoever is meant to be in the audience will be there. So thank you for sharing that. That was strong. That was powerful. Who else has a lesson from 2023 that you would like to share? I will insert one that I think I didn't realize how nuanced it could be. This is one of the reasons why, you guys, I always say to you that you have to be definite with the infinite. Because if you're not definite with the infinite, there's no telling how the lesson's going to land. And you're like, that's not what I asked for. And then you think about it, you're like, yes, you did. You just weren't specific. It just came to you in a way that you weren't expecting. And now you mad because you weren't specific about the delivery. That's on you. And so I remember beginning the year with saying, remove from me anything that doesn't serve my highest good. I should have put a disclaimer on that. Like, except my sleep, don't remove that. Except my marriage, don't remove that. Except my, health or whatever. All right. You have a list of, don't touch this shit, God. Just remove anything else, but this is sacrosanct. Don't remove this, right? And so this is what I mean about being specific, that it's like, do you really mean it? Do you really mean removing anything that doesn't serve my highest good? Because the first thing that divine intelligence, that God, that spirit is going to go for is the stuff that you're attached to. That's the whole lesson between Abraham and Isaac. But we're not gonna get ceremonious. Who else has something? Hmm. Mm-hmm. We're not a talkative bunch today. It's a good thing you're here, Robin, so you can talk my ear off.
Well, I'm 100% with your questions. Where am I now? About 2 miles behind where I'd like to be. How did I get here? I was a lazy ass in 2023.
Oh my!
What worked? Leaving me
as the man who published the book, Lord have mercy.
Leaving me the hell alone and letting me finish my job at my pace. And what didn't work and what was missing? What didn't work was my procrastination and my lazy ass attitude. That if I had my way, I would be Jimmy Buffett sitting on a beach somewhere. Just.
Come on, accountability. Tell it like it is.
Throw the fishing hook in the water for dinner and not worry about anything else. I could go do a side gig to buy some beer for the evening. I mean,
I love it.
If I had my way, that would be it.
Yeah, that's the odd oxymoron, paradox, if you will, of some of our greatest treasures. Like the deepest, most beautiful, immaculate pearls. In order to get to that pearl, you're going to have to open the oyster and go through a whole bunch of goo. And then
first you got to get to the bottom of the ocean and find it, right? I mean, that's the first thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you what didn't work and what was missing was my own personal agenda that says I have a right to do what I want instead of what I know I need to do. Right. That's what didn't work. It wasn't missing. It was all over me, for the last 6 months, probably. There's a lot of things going on in my life that I could try and control and try and manipulate and try and be, charge of and have my hand in and my faith. I just have to stop and go, look, you said you were going to take care of this. How did I see it? I saw the other day, it's not done until something. So since that hasn't happened, it's not done. It's not over till it's over. Since it's not over, it's not over. Something like that. It was some saying like there's still stuff to be done. So, I'm not going anywhere now. I have to finish this ride. So it was tough just staying focused. I have no accountability except myself. Right. And my higher power.
Sure.
So in order to stay on track, it's very difficult to keep my ADHD focused on something long enough. Like right now it's repairing and getting computers ready to give away. Right. We do this huge computer giveaway at Christmas. So half of my shop down here is covered with laptops and desktops and wires and everything all over the place in every different, state of repair. And internally, I feel like it should have been done in October, right? So that's where I say I'm lazy and I procrastinate because it's been there. It could have been done, but it didn't. So that's, getting more intentional on making sure that I know clearly what it is I'm attempting to do so that I don't, off into the gutter every time.
Yes.
That's tough because I can do so much.
Yes.
I spent this weekend in a bucket lift in my front yard fixing the front of my house. I spent 3 solid days in a 35-foot lift going up and down, fixing windows and caulking and siding. I mean, just all kind of stuff. And
oh, wow.
I could have spent that doing these computers that need to be given away,
Right.
just getting the intentionality to make sure you're accomplishing what needs to be accomplished, I think, is part of mine. And then I'm selfish. I want my way. I want my free time. I want to have a beer at the end of the day. I want to enjoy myself to what I say is enjoyment.
Yes.
Maybe not to what would be enjoyment.
Somebody else would consider it. Yeah, sure.
Right. Or what the big guy would say, hey, you'll get so much more enjoyment if you'll just fall in line with what I'm telling you to do. You're eating that hamburger and I got a filet mignon for you. I mean,
right.
You're still eating, you're still accomplishing it, but there's so much better if you'll just fall in line with what I'm trying to guide you to. So I think that's that's what was missing.
Oh,
me being intentional on the
universe
and what the universe's intentions were for my destination.
Yeah. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get caught up in one of the ways that I try to outsmart myself. Here comes the confession. Is that I use my doubt as a justification for my own agenda. That since I have doubt, since I'm not sure, let me just do it this way, which is, oddly enough, the way I prefer. and then when it doesn't work, I can just blame you for not giving me certainty. Because if you would have just answered my questions, I wouldn't have had to go this way.
Damn, okay, I can leave now. You've just smacked me around, stepped on my toes. That's it. That's exactly, you said it exactly. That's exactly where I'm at. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it was my profession. It just so happened that, we both do it. But I think it's so cool to be able to tell on ourselves, because you realize this is the lesson upon lesson upon lesson that I learned from this, is that when I have the temerity to be truthful and to tell on myself, even just to myself, it doesn't have to be in a public forum like this, but even if I'm willing to be truthful and tell it like it is and tell on myself to myself, what I realize is I've lost nothing. God's love for me has not diminished. You still got to do what you got to do. You still got to walk the walk that you got to walk. Like nothing has changed. All that has happened is that you've confronted yourself. So now you've developed a higher degree of self-trust. You've developed a higher degree of transparency, of authenticity. And sometimes I think, I don't know about you, but I sometimes have, the reason why I have hesitated to be authentic like that with myself is because I say, well, I don't know what price I'm going to have to pay if I actually confess this. I don't know what I'm going to lose if I actually confess this. And my experience has been that every time I confess something, every time that I'm transparent with myself, I don't lose anything. I gain more self-trust, more self-respect, more authenticity. And I can call myself on my own bull faster so that I can get on with, being about my father's business, as it were, without all this extra stuff that I impose on myself.
Well, I appreciate everybody else coming along for my therapy session here with Dr. Ogando. I'll just send me the link for that payment, Doc. I'll make sure I get you the copay. I get the copay so you can submit the insurance claim.
Cash out me the copay. That's hilarious.
Temerity.
Can you define temerity? I like the feel of that word. Well, let me just tell you that temerity means like boldness. It means audacity. It means
excessive confidence.
Well, yes, I didn't want to go there because I don't think it's excessive. And sometimes you just gotta like put on your big boy or your big girl panties, whatever. Use the analogy that best works for you. Because sometimes it's like, you're bigger than this. You know better than this. You're just fooling yourself. You're just delaying your own blessing. And sometimes you got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, cut the shit already. Excuse my French.
Come on.
And so when you're able to do that, when you're able to face yourself with that temerity, to be able to say, this is what I did, this is what I didn't do. I knew better and I did it this way because I made such and such more important. I made somebody's approval more important. I made money more important. I made my comfort more important. I didn't want to face that this thing was ending and I just pretended and blah, blah, blah. When you can have the temerity to say things like that, right? Your spirit's like, oh, she's learning. Oh, she's doing the work. And then you don't have as tough of a time with the next lessons because you've dropped some of that resistance.
Yep.
So I really, really appreciate you dancing with me on this, Robin. It harkens me back to our old times when we were co-hosting, right?
Right.
This is nice. I really enjoyed the dance. And thank you, everybody, for being here with us. Remember, always love generously, laugh a lot and loudly. Give of yourself, your time, your energy, your attention. Sleep at least 7 to 9 hours, especially now in the wintertime. Stress less, eat more plant-based, move your tail feather. Remember that twerking is a Kundalini raising spiritual exercise. And as always, audit your assumptions, check yourself before you wreck yourself. We love you. Thanks for being here.
Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Easy up.